to take over because I really want to hear this and more. Let me get everybody in. Wait 1 second. Um,
That's pretty good, Rick.
good. Thanks for Jeff. Thanks because he is often very quiet. We have to force words out of him. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you embarrassing him into saying something. All right. So first, before we get started, I want to reintroduce somebody to you guys. Her name is Selena Galanis, and she is the beautiful lady in the middle of the screen, middle of my screen. I don't know where she shows up on your screen. And she is my coach. She is an incredible coach, 25 years in the industry, has overseen huge teams. She is part of our EXP organization now, and she is helping Casey and I oversee our organization, meaning she's partnered with us to make that right. She has also been with Workman Success, and she is a master coach, the highest level coach you can be at Workman Success. And she knows the RAMP program in and out. She will be filling in for me next Friday because my wife and I will be at an event in Anaheim. And but she knows this subject better than most, and usually better than me. So Selena,
good morning, everybody.
Joining us, and she's going to have some input today. But I'm so excited because Kyle Batty, who's admittedly behind on the program, Jeff Gonzalez is a good friend of mine in our EXP organization from the Central Coast, and Jeff is encouraging Kyle to share his successes with us. So I want to make sure we introduce Selena first. We got on recording. So Kyle, tell us the story. You know, we're in week 4. So by today, you should have been done with week 4. What are you done with? What have you done? And what are these extraordinary numbers that Jeff's so proud of?
So I joined coaching 2 weeks ago. So I just finished week 2. Last week was, my 4 contacts with my SOI touches, ABC leads, my power hour and door knocking and scripts and everything. So just in the last probably 2.5 weeks here, just hitting this, or the last 2 weeks, for my June numbers, I door knocked 708 doors. I've had 113 conversations at the doors that were real estate related. I was able to get 17 contacts, their email and phone numbers, and I've met 5 potential sellers in the next, I have one that needs to sell in the next 60 days. One said, in the next year, and another one whose mom had just passed. So I've met 5 potential sellers just in the last couple of weeks out in the community door knocking.
Holy crap. This is amazing.
This is the key, man. This is the
daily success habits. Kyle, you are so refreshing, and this is wonderful. So 708 doors. I love that you knew it to the exact. I mean, keeping tracking. This is the thing Selena is talking to me about in my ear every day. What's being tracked? Okay. So one other question I want to ask you is 708 doors. How many trips? How many actual I'm going out door knocking with 708 doors? 1 time, 10 times?
Oh no, it has to be a daily, 2 hours minimum daily, 5 days a week, period.
So is this 10 trips then?
Yeah, I'd say about 10, 11 trips out. Absolutely.
Good. So and what you will start to develop, Kyle, and everyone else on the call, is you'll start to know your numbers. Your numbers won't be the same as everybody else's numbers in terms of, I did this many doors. I was talking to a lady who used to door knock in Minnesota, and the lots were so big that I was doing about 65 homes in 2 hours. She was doing 29 homes in 2 hours, right? It's like how much distance between doors, and there's all kinds of factors. This is awesome. I want to read Kevin's comment. Admittedly, I do not track anything. I track in my head, and whatever's in your head will disappear. Believe it. It's the truth, even for people with photographic memories and stuff like that. What's in your head disappears. So Kyle, great success. Now, next question. How does Kyle continue the success? First, those 5 people, those 5 leads, but he had 100 and something conversations, and he picked up, I believe you said 17 emails and phone numbers, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So those are the people that are now going to go into his follow-up,
Yeah.
his nurture. They're gonna be in a conversion process from I just met you to turning in. Selena, I want you to jump in right now as a coach. What would you say to him now that he's got these 17 names and email numbers, plus 5 of those 17 will sell or want to sell in the next, let's say, the most a year? Okay.
First of all, I would say, wow, that's amazing. That's incredible. Secondly, it's like, what was your next step? Did everybody go into the system? Did you set them up to make sure that anybody's getting regular emails from you? Where did they go after you got them?
They're in my the KV Core I'm in the process of transferring over from my old brokerage, all my contacts. I got a lot of in there from the past that I have met. They're all in KV Core now, and that's where they are. This evening, because it's the first of the new month, I was planning on, before I go home tonight, to print out each of these areas, just print out maybe 2 or 3 comps, go over there in person, face to face, before I head home tonight, and just say, hey, by the way, here's a snapshot of the market real quick. Again, just I got to stay front and center of these clients.
I love that. I want to make sure that everybody who is using KV Core or whatever CRM it is, remember that the faster you put them in the system, the better. And that every time you put somebody in, you've got the data, you've got a note about what you last talked about, and you have a to-do on when you're calling them again or stopping by the house. That's where we lose track of what we're doing, right? It's fantastic to get all the information, but make sure that you're utilizing the system to remind you when, keeping whatever promise that you said. I'm of the mindset, if someone says, call me in a month, I divide that by 2. And I call them in 2 weeks and just say I was thinking about them. But just make sure that as you're getting that crazy critical information, that you are setting it to do to remind yourself to touch base with them again. I love the idea of stopping by and giving them that data. That's offering value without being asked, which I love, right? Serving regardless of the opportunity, which is my favorite thing.
Yes. And that's what we tell people, SBRO, or service before, SBO, service before opportunity. Yeah. So good. So let's look, congratulations, by the way. And how many of you, now remember what the beginning of his story was. I'm 2 weeks behind. He was honest and upfront, but what was given to us in week 1 and week 2 is a lot. And week 1 and week 2 alone was the impetus for him doing 708 doors. And if you think about 2 hours a day, Kyle, did you get everything else done? Did you remember to shower every day and buy food and eat and kiss your wife or kids or whatever?
Yeah, no, I packed my lunch. I kind of live out of my car. I told I'll be home around 6 tonight,
Yeah, nice. That's awesome. Let's see. Kevin Scott says, last week, Kyle said I should knock on the doors when I drop my CMA. No one is home at my drop off, so I drop off to probate. Okay. Yeah, and Kevin, everybody's got something different that they're doing. You're going after a particular niche, so you're going to have different results. But, one of the other things that you have to remember is that, so Kyle, let me ask you this. People door knock. Did you door knock around what we call, circle door knocking?
Yeah.
Or were you door knocking what would be a future farm for you? Tell us a little bit about that.
So what I'll do, I'll go onto the hot sheets every day and I'll just pick out a house that's just hit the market, and that's it. I just need to print that out and then I head out. Tuesdays are our caravan in the Santa Maria Valley here. And so I didn't actually go onto the caravan, but I went to one of the houses that just hit the market. I stopped in and I met all the agents there. And then I asked them, I said, hey, have you guys even door knocked the neighborhood here? They said, oh, no, we haven't. I said, okay. I said, is it okay? Are you comfortable if I go out and pound doors? They said, oh yeah, we don't care. And so then I just went out and I door knocked the entire neighborhood. And I was chuckling because I was watching all these agents coming in. I'm out there just pounding the pavement, waving to them. And, it was just, yeah, find a hot new listing and just go let the neighborhood know about it. And they're very appreciative of it. They just see a sign up and they're like, oh, I wonder how much is that? What is that? And you just show up at the door, there it is.
Yeah. Was it your listing?
No, it's not my listing. I don't currently have any listings right now.
No. Just answer the question. Was it an EXP listing?
No, it was not.
See, brilliant. Not his listing, not EXP listing. And he was still kind enough to go in and say, you cool if I door knock? And of course they said, go ahead. They're never going to freaking do it themselves anyway. And if the listing sells because of something Kyle did, who gets the commission? Yes, the listing agent. But guess what Kyle got? 5 listing leads. 5 listing leads. While the agent who's representing the seller is sitting in the house talking to other agents who all work in the same area, getting nothing but a little exposure for his listing. So there's just so much to be said about what you did, Kyle. And you know how many people will tell me, because I was a door knocker, I've shared with you guys that before, that, oh, well, I don't look like a door knocker. I've heard that so many times. I'm like, really? Because look up the word door knocker and see if they show you a picture of what you should look like. There isn't any such thing. Right? And it's just this, you know, like I like to dress up, but when I go door knocking, I still dress up with comfortable shoes.
Yeah, in sunscreen.
Yes. Yes. Good for you, Kyle. Yes. So
Cool. Thanks, you guys.
because if you notice, I have a 5 head, not a 4 head. So
Yeah.
it's a little.
Hey, Rick,
Yes.
I would like to add, because I've done the same thing. The one thing that I've done is go to the agent and ask them if I'm going to door knock around a new listing. I ask them if I have permission to show it over the next 2 hours while I'm in the area. That way, if anybody says, hey, I really wanted to see that house, or I'm really interested, I can just walk them over, meet them there, and walk them through the house. So just another level that you can enhance that relationship, because they go, oh, well, I'd like to see that. Well, let's go right now. Just
Yeah.
to, you know, what I did, Kyle.
That's
So
clever. That's clever. I did sort of what Kyle did, but I did it digitally. So I went to a really nice listing, not an EXP listing. And I asked the agent, I said, I love this place. Do you mind if I run some Facebook ads on it? And so I went into KV Core, pulled up the thing, and I did a property boost on it. So, and then I hooked up with my lender, and then my lender is following up with them saying, hey, are you pre-approved? So I'm a systems guy. The more I have leverage other people doing stuff for me, the better.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm not getting the immediate, you know, 5 listings, but or losing the calories. Maybe I should go door knock just to lose the calories.
Well, yeah. And it's really not, if we watched our language, Kevin, it's not doing things for you, it's doing things with you. Like you guys are collaborating towards the success of all of you. If a lender is following up, he's following up because he has an opportunity also, or she has an opportunity.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So those are,
Yeah, I like.
and the reason Selena's so excited is she speaks the language of leverage, right? The more.
Yeah, that's my whole. That's really my. I was a computer animator for 25 years, and now I'm in real estate. But I really should have been some kind of systems engineer, because that is where my passion is just building things to run on their own. So
Yeah.
that's my. I'm glad that you like that, Selena's, because you and I are gonna get along great.
It's my love language.
I love it. I love it so much.
Yes, and Kyle, don't ever let technology keep you from door knocking. Believe me, what works, works. And if nothing else, your story reminds us that everything works, nothing doesn't. Had you been a big door knocker? Was that, would you say that's the most door knocking you've done in 2 weeks? You did more than you did in your whole life combined before that?
Yeah, because with the 61 point system in place, I'm getting my numbers from doors.
Yeah.
You know, I've always wanted to build my business on door knocking, and but now that there's a system, it's too easy to pull into a neighborhood and just pull out and just, you know, and drive away. And there was a couple times this week, man, I was fighting it tooth and nail. I did not want to, you know, I had like a little mild headache. I mean, your mind will tell you anything to get out of what we need to go do. You know, my wife will tell me, you know, go change your diaper and go back, get back to work, you know. And
I like your
basically,
wife.
this
I
is,
know- I have a wife and Selena, very similar. Yeah. They both tell me to change my diaper and get back to work. Yeah. Pull up your big boy panties, boy, and get back to work. So, yeah. All right. That's a great story. Now there's lots of you on here. Let's talk a little bit about week 4, what was said in week 4, Who wants to start? What was one of the videos that resonated with you in week 4? A hush fell over the crowd.
I'm only halfway through the videos in week 4.
Okay, what was the first video? Anyone? Okay. All right. Did anybody get to week 4? Okay.
First video was open houses.
Okay.
Oh,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank
Then
you.
the second one was lead generation, then safety, and then I watched the fourth one today. I can't even remember what it was.
Okay. All right, cool. So, well, the reason I just want somebody to bring up open houses since, you know, they are a very productive we saw the numbers dramatically change here in Northern California where we would get 50 to 80 people through a regular open house. And if you didn't, you just thought it was a bad day. Now to get 10 or 12 people through an open house is a little bit more consistent. We had a couple open houses last weekend. We had one where nobody came through, nobody. And it was advertised, it was out there, you know, things like that. So the market shifts. However, we just had 2 different people only have 2 people through their open houses last weekend and each picked up 1 lead. What's that tell you? 50% conversion. I'll take that all day long. And if you knew you could commit 3.5 hours for work and get 1 really qualified good lead, wouldn't you say that's worth it all day long? Especially there where the average sale price was about 800,000. So that's 4 of Sherry's deals. So this is really good stuff, and it's probably more than 4. So that's why I want to say now, does anybody know what the greatest salesman of the world lesson was for week 4?
I am nature's greatest miracle.
Nice, nice. Okay, we're going to talk about that in a minute. I would like to call on a few people that have talked in the past. Colin, you got anything to share with us about your last couple of weeks?
For sure. So it's kind of funny that open houses was the thing for week 4 because I did an open house last weekend and did it Saturday and Sunday for 3 hours each and had a buyer come in that just fired their last agent and they were ready to buy a house. And so I had my laptop with me and I went over my entire buyer's presentation with them at the end of the open house. And they were like, well, we're going to go look at one more house and come back. They came back and they were like, we want you to write up an offer for us. And so I had a buyer agreement ready to go and we got under contract the very next day.
Boss.
Yes,
That's
Colin.
boss right there.
Yeah, and those people that are screaming from Oklahoma, are they around the corner from you right now in the other office?
No, I'm at my home office.
Oh, okay. So you can't hear Cheryl yelling for you from the other office. So yeah, good job, Colin. And thanks for being an example to all of us. I appreciate it. All right. Who else had a success that they'd like to share with us? And guys, you were all doing stuff before you got on Ramp, maybe some less, maybe some more, but what's been a win for you lately? Let's bring up the energy of the call. Look, we're at the beginning of a 4-day weekend, essentially. And I know that everybody's probably dying to jump in the pool or get the heck out of work, but let's think about what we did that worked. And as Hunter said on the Free Friday coaching call, what worked, what didn't, and what do I need to do more of, and what do I need to do less of? I like that. So let's go. Who wants to talk? Oh, and it's Happy Canada Day too. I forgot about that. Yeah. So come on, James. I know you've been a busy guy. Okay, I'm gonna look up.
So one other thing I liked was they talked about the low cost lead sources in the book, like open houses, social media, door knocking, building relationships, kind of going out in the community. And if you really look at all the lead generation things that we do, they're all pretty low costing, high reward. If you really look at it, there's nothing we do lead generation wise that cost a lot of money. It's just really marketing and stuff like that.
Yes. And one thing that Gary Keller used to say that I've mentioned here before is that we build a prospecting based, marketing enhanced real estate sales business. right? So when people start talking to me about all this marketing they're doing, or can I send out more postcards? I go, when was the last time you spoke to somebody on a phone? Right? When was the last time you sat down and picked out your top 50? And let's be honest, by now, guys, it's week 4. You should have a top 50. Okay. Now, does anybody believe that top 50 has not been mentioned yet? Just curious if you maybe missed that video. Okay. So what do you think Selena is all over me about every week right now? My top 50 and the top 50 of every agent on my team. It's a basic in real estate success now, a basic.
It's also one of the top lead sources that Workman clients and clients everywhere have right now. People are more willing, they desire it more to work with someone that they know and trust. They are not getting on Zillow. They are not getting on Google necessarily nearly as much as they used to. Ever since the COVID market, they are looking for people that they know and trust, or that someone they know knows and trust. That's why it's so important right now.
So Selena, forgive me, to capitalize that, are you saying that if people are looking to people that they know, like, and trust, in order to increase that, obviously we need to be connecting with people that we know, like, and trust?
Yes.
Or to widen our net, we need to do things that will encourage people to not see us as strangers, but to know, like, and trust us more.
Yes.
Which
So
to me says,
I also
ahead.
want you to think that pre-COVID, and I don't know what the numbers are since this market started, but prior to COVID, the average person talked about real estate in a social environment 8 to 12 times a year. The idea behind top 50 is that when that person is having a conversation about real estate in a social environment, that they say, you should call my friend Tom. You should call my friend Kyle, because that is just generally what happens, right? You might go to a block party and someone says, hey, my sister's been talking about buying. You want that neighbor to say, you should really call my friend Tom. And the only reason that they're going to remember that is because every single month you are having a conversation with that top 50 person, so that they are keeping you top of mind. Sorry, Rick.
Yeah. No, I want you. And so, okay. And Kevin just put a comment in. He said, my top 50 exists. So
Liar.
I'm not even going to speak because Selena is appalled. And
Did you see my answer? I went, liar.
it exists. It's just not in writing. So Selena, can you address that? Because you'll do it better than I will.
Kevin, are you going to tell me that you're in a new market where you don't know anyone?
There's that.
Ah.
And I can see you've had that objection before.
Once or twice.
Most of my friends and people I've worked with, they're all over the world. And I sent out I used KV Core. I loaded everybody into my sphere and I sent out, hey, I'm just want to catch up with you soon. But it doesn't really, well, could be a mindset thing. Who knows?
Maybe a story you're telling yourself?
Possibly, but I don't have that local connection to people.
How many transactions have you done locally?
1.
Okay. All right. So a couple of things here. 1, the average person has 200 people that you would invite to your wedding or your funeral on average. Okay.
Okay.
I want you to think about it from that perspective. So sit down one day with a piece of paper and I want you to write down all 200 people that you would invite to a wedding or a funeral, because somewhere in there is your top 50. They don't have to be local, guys. They don't necessarily have to be local. You're a part of this amazing organization with an incredible referral network all over the country. And when you want to get 25% of something versus 0 of nothing. So that is still a top 50. It's still very, very valuable. What I normally tell folks whenever they're in a new market and they're trying to build that top 50 with someone locally is to start adding your transactions, right? Your buyer or your seller, that starts getting added to your local top 50. I had a buyer's agent I was coaching on a team once, and he told me, no, I don't know anybody. I'm not really social. By the way, he's like the most social guy. And I said, okay, from right now, I want you to take your phone out and I want you to start a note in the Notes app. And for every person you speak to for the next 2 weeks in person, I want you to put them in the app, in the Notes app. Every person on the sidewalk, coffee house, your dry cleaner, I don't care who it is, and put that in there. And then anytime you speak to that person more than once, you put a little asterisk next to it. As you start going through that in 2 weeks, you're going to see that list was 312. He had 312 people he spoke to in 2 weeks. He talks to everybody, right? He goes to the library with his kids. He speaks to the librarian, whatever. We started developing a top 50 from that. So you don't even realize that you have people that could potentially be that top 50 because you're not actively thinking about it from that perspective. So I would like you to, for the next 2 weeks, open up an app on your phone. Every person that you talk to, if you talk to them twice, you put an asterisk. If you talk to them 3 times, there's another asterisk, and we can build it from there. Are you part of a networking group, or do you do anything in your community?
No BNIs or nothing.
Okay.
like
All right. Anything that you go to regularly, restaurant, bar?
that. Yeah, bars and I mean, not really regularly, maybe once or
Okay.
twice a month.
Kevin, I'm going to help you find your top 50. I'm going to help you find your top 50. Now it's a challenge. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I accept it. You're welcome to accept the challenge.
I would encourage you to start with that top 50 people that you have all over the country first, right? And if you want to have 2 versions of it, one which is my global top 50, and then start building your local top 50, I would say put the global top 50 in there first, because referring is still critically important, and 25% is still a nice chunk of change. Okay, so don't give that up. And then secondly, start building the local.
Yeah, and I'm gonna spin that a little bit into agent attraction, because well over half the people I talk to every day or in a month, more than half are agents.
Agents, even
Yeah.
better. Now
Some
you have 2
are EXP,
opportunities.
Some are EXP, some aren't.
Yeah, so
So-
you have 2 opportunities in front of you. I just want you to think about it from the perspective of that maybe right now your mindset is telling you you don't have it, when in reality, they're probably right in front of you.
Okay, yeah, I accept that writing down challenge.
Sorry, Rick.
No, don't apologize. This is good. Yeah, Sherry, go ahead.
So Selena kind of covered one I was going to ask, which is having 2 top 50s, because I come from one area and I have both the referral aspect from one area plus my agent attraction I was doing a top 50 on. And then for my area, I was doing a top 50 on. And I'm, I can't say I'm new to the area because I've been here now for 26 months. Woohoo. So I should have more, but I'm building that as well. But I just wondered what the perception of 2 top 50s were. And then just a quick note, Kevin, start reaching out to attorneys and doing pop buys and go in and have conversations with them. If you're going to work in probate, that's your top 50, just my opinion. And
Yeah, I actually just bought a course on learning to market to attorneys for probate. So I'm excited about that.
they're amazing. Look up trust attorneys, and I mean,
Family law.
yeah, they're amazing. And focus on divorce as well. Don't just stay in probate. Talk to them about divorce and being a negotiator, because when they have controversy going on, they'll go, hey, this guy can handle for both of you. So it's a good lead source.
So Sherry, in response to your top 50, I'm a firm believer. Obviously, a lot of folks say just have 50. I have a guy in Michigan who has 100, and man, he works it hard because it's his biggest lead source. I have multiple top 50s. One is agent attraction recruiting, right? So that top 50 is kind of always going for me. And then I moved from New York down to South Carolina. So I'm doing the same thing, right? I'm building something different. Now, I'm not forgetting the New York folks, right? Because I lived up that way for a long time. It's still really, really important, and referrals are great, but I'm having to actively start working on something in South Carolina. For those of you that have moved somewhere new and maybe you feel like that isn't built out, Kevin, Sherry, I would say for both of you, you need to define what success looks like for you for the top 50. Does that mean I'm adding 1 new person a week? Does that mean I'm adding 2 new people a week? And that's going out and actively trying to develop a relationship with someone, saying, hi, I sell real estate and I'm building a group of people that, I want to stay in touch with. And remember, top 50 is not just about calls. You're having lunch with them. We're doing pop buys, we're mailing things out, and hopefully we're having at least 4 events a year that we're inviting these folks to. A lot of people successfully start a Facebook group for their top 50. Most of the people I coach, I'm on their Facebook top 50 group, which is fun. It's not about asking referrals. For anybody who's watched the video, you should know that's not what you're supposed to say. Hi, who do you know who wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? You actually genuinely care about these people. And those Facebook groups should be focused on providing value, information about your local area, things like that. So you need to build it, but I would say define what success looks like for you. Is it one person a week, 2 people a week? What does that look like if you want to add into your top 50?
Yeah, and Selena, a legitimate question is that a lot of these Facebook, are they secret groups where nobody even knows they exist unless you're a member of the group and you can't go search for it?
A lot of times people will call it their MVP group or their VIP group or this top secret, top 50 group. They make it kind of fun, and but it clearly states in order to continue to be a member, you have to refer me at least one piece of business a year.
Yeah.
And that's reviewed every year. And it's just to kind of keep that, hey, I'm now part of your MVP group.
Yeah, and I think Tammy Slay that we've mentioned here before had like 77 closings in 2021 from her
top 50
with 118 referrals or 70.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Something to that. I know we're probably not exact, Selena, but I think it's somewhere in those.
I still have it somewhere. Hang on.
Selena, can I ask you a question about that?
Of course.
I love that. I mean, if it sounds like what it sounds like you just said, they get to be a part of your VIP group, which is kind of a red carpet, VIP area group, even if it's just on a Facebook group. People will jump out of their skin and bend over backwards for you if you give them acknowledgement, especially in a group setting like that, or they feel like they're getting special treatment. So the psychology around that is brilliant. I'm curious, what's the script? What's the language? How do you promote that to your group so it sounds like not an exclusivity where they're not being invited, but hey, we welcome you. We want you to be part of our group. We would love to have you. And it's just simple. Who do you know that wants to buy a home, sell a home, invest in real estate? You just refer one a year and you're in. That simple.
So I will send this video to you guys after this. Rick, if you can give me the list of everybody who's in this group afterwards, because I took a great video from Tammy Slay that she did on a call once, and I just loved it so much. I videoed it. I literally videoed my monitor. That's how much I was like, I got to get this. It was so good. She was very, very transparent in the way that she asked people permission to be a part of that group. And it was because her life had changed and she was now a single income family. And so when she called each person individually, she said, I want to ask permission. I am now in a different situation and it's very important for me to continue to build my business. Would it be okay if I call you once a month and we chit chat and we check to see how things are going, but also to remind you that if there is someone in your life who has mentioned that they want to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, can I have a commitment that you will work to make sure that it's my name given to them? And then she gets that agreement. And then she says, I'm going to make you a part of this group, part of staying in the group, because she reevaluates your top 50 every year. You should be doing the same thing. Every year that top 50 can shift. And then, so she's asking permission. I loved that because I felt like it was very authentic. You can just state like, I love this. Hey, we helped 25 families last year with their real estate needs. My goal is 50 for this year. Could I just ask that you keep me in mind if someone has mentioned buying, selling, or investing in real estate so I can help build my business? Feels very real, right? How many people would say no? Like, they really wouldn't say no. We all want to help each other. And we love it when someone asks for assistance. Someone tells me they're starting a new business. I am all about it, right? Okay, let me see who I can refer to you because you care about that person genuinely. Tom, did that answer your question?
Yeah, it did. That's great. Yeah, and I've kind of played with that before. It seems like, and again, this is probably based on the relationship, but when you use the word commitment, people freak out, like, ooh, you're asking me to commit to giving you a lead every month. No, but whatever the commitment is. So I guess maybe it's just because of my experience in that, maybe once bitten, twice shy. I'm kind of hesitant to do that, but language that basically says, hey, would you be opposed to just keeping me in mind? I love that. Yeah. Keeping me in mind. If someone runs across your mind or runs across your path, the most consistent thing about life is change. So the chances are that with all the people that you know, if you know anybody who wants to buy a home, sell a home, invest, you just think of me. That's all.
That if
So-
that is the script you're comfortable with, I find that asking for commitment makes it more serious. I feel like that makes it more involved. And I did want to speak to what you mentioned earlier with them being part of that special group. Your top 50 should be a special group. You should have events that have only top 50 involvement. Wine parties, whatever that is, that is just top 50. When we do Pie Day, like if those of you that don't know what that is, it's a Thanksgiving. We give away like manhole-sized pies from Costco. Everyone
awesome.
loves it.
a
That
great
is
idea.
like, that's your top 50. That's your past clients. That's your current A buyers, your B buyers and whatnot. Top 50 is really special. Of course, they get invited to everything, but they're getting more of your special attention, right? They are special to you. They become a tight-knit group. Actually, a lot of these folks start to get to know each other. There are several agents who run what we call cluster events with their top 50. So we start learning more and more about our top 50 and determining what their likes and dislikes are. And I have a client in New Mexico, and she has like 7 or 8 in her top 50 that are avid art lovers. Love it. So every time that there is a new art show in town, that cluster group goes together. They now let each other know, hey, there's a new art show coming. And now that cluster group, and how great is that? You get to talk to 7 or 8 people at the same time that month, right? It's not like you're having to make the commitment to go to 7 or 8 lunches. You're going to one art show, you're buying everybody a glass of wine, and now they've developed this little group. So think about it from that perspective too. A cluster group is very effective. I threw a lot at you. Anybody have questions on top 50?
Selena, I just need to schedule a private session with you. I can see that. Worked on my script and my mindset and a couple other things. So you're getting a call.
You've got my info. I know you do.
Indeed. Yes. Well, now you've just lit a fire under my butt. So thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so Selena, I just love this because you are so good at this, even better than me. Yes, even better than me. So I do want to call on Rochelle, not to put you on the spot, Rochelle. If you don't want to talk, it's fine. But the 2 weeks ago, you talked a lot, and we all learned from what you said quite a bit. Then last week, just a couple words, and this week, no words. So,
I'm here. I'm just listening.
Hey, yeah, I got that. I just want to know, have you experienced new experiences in using what you've been learning, or are you not kind of venturing into actually doing what the assignments are saying? It's okay either way, no good, bad, right, or wrong, just
Yeah, no, it's good. It's all good. I did my I'm up to week 4, so I did the videos. I haven't really done a lot of open houses since pre-COVID, but again, I kind of fell off the daily tracker for this week, but I guess my wins are I haven't door knocked, so that's one of my goals eventually. But I do have a little Facebook group that I don't know, I can't really get it up and running. But my win, I guess, for the week, it's a win and not a win at the same time. The win is I did reach out to everybody in my group. Those are my top 50, my top, clients. And I did invite them to an event. My family's big on music and the arts, and my son is a musician. So I invited everybody in the group to an event tonight. So unfortunately, a lot of people couldn't make it because of the holiday weekend. But I guess the win was that I did reach out to all of them. I sent out the invite to everybody. I did have those conversations with people that I probably wouldn't have spoken with otherwise. So like not a bunch of people are coming, some are, but the group is brand new to me. So I'm kind of trying to figure out the best way to get more involvement, whether it's little giveaways or, that's kind of where I'm stuck with the group. But like I said, my win for the week is that I actually got people to go back and forth with. So.
nice. And so I like that you said that you have not been a door knocker in the past. Is that correct?
It's been years. So I've door knocked in the past around my listings, more when my kids were little. They came with me. It was cute. It was fun. I did years ago. I got one for sale by owner, but I haven't really done it since. So my issue is I'm not consistent. So I'm trying to be more consistent with things.
So, and was Kyle's story inspiring at all in terms of he just went out 10 days in a row? Well, not 10 days in a row, but 5 days one week, 5 days another, about
Right.
2 hours a day. But what was inspiring to me about Kyle's story was that he knew that he knocked on 708 doors,
Right.
that he had 117 or whatever, 138 conversations, and then and 17 contacts, meaning 17 information like emails and phone numbers, and 5 leads. That dissection and tracking to me is literally a real estate lead generation turn on for me. So did that at least say to you, okay, it's working, I got to go out and do it? Or, you know,
I definitely think I need to do something more proactive, because I feel like a lot of what I do is passive, whether it's the postcards, you know, yeah, I don't think I'm getting in front of enough people face to face. I have been doing video. So my goal is to do more, because I did actually go on a listing appointment from someone who's seen my video. So that was great. However, I was up against 3 other people. They loved me, which was great. This is kind of, I don't know, it's depressing and informative at the same time. They thought I was more technical. I had more sales. They loved us both. However, when they made their decision, it came down to the friend's referral. So their friend had exactly what Selena was saying. Their friend recommended an agent, and that particular agent had a son who went to high school with their daughter. So there was nothing that I could do, because I wanted to call and I wanted to talk to them and ask them what I did or what I could have improved on during my listing agreement or listing appointment. And they said, really nothing. And she's like, oh my God, you would hate to hear this, but I would suggest you get more friends with kids, or more listings with kids that, with children the same age, or however she said it. But basically she was telling me have more connections of my own.
Yeah.
So, so that was the constructive criticism.
And I just had a talk, Rochelle, the other day with someone, and they said, well, where will I get more names? I go, how old are your kids again? She said 14 and 16. I go, start with the parents of the kids your kids hang out with. There you go. There's a whole freaking bunch of them.
Exactly. And that's where I'm trying to focus, right? That's what you got to do.
Yeah. Tom, go ahead. Jump in, buddy.
Cool, thanks. I wanted to just give a big kudos to Kyle for your 2 weeks in a row experiment with door knocking. It's amazing. Once you start doing it, it's like anything else. We build up this big monster in our head, like, oh my God, that's going to be terrible, and people are going to slam the door in our face. But once you get out there and do it, you realize that people are just people, and it's a blast. I've been door knocking for years, gotten great business from it, but even as Rochelle said, it's the consistency that matters, and you got to be consistent doing it. Just a quick story. I had the privilege of hosting one of Rick Jihad's open house in a listing in Sacramento on Bayfield in a 55 and over community called Sunset Lincoln Hills. 6,800 homes in this community, 6,800, all 55 and over. So I started doing open house there. I did it for a month in a row, both Saturday and Sunday. Have been having a little bit of challenge converting since, the interest rate increase and blah, 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 all the market shift that we're all talking about. So still working on that. Selena, open to your coaching on tweaking that and making it better. However, the big news is that not only the 61 points that we're doing here in RAMP, but Brent Gove put out a 10-day challenge, or 10 contacts a day challenge. Just do it. Just make 10 contacts a day. Barry Mathis, an agent here, EXP agent in Sacramento that some of you may know, he was this time last year, going to the holidays, he had nothing. He had no escrows, no business at all. Brent said, make 10 contacts a day. And he challenged him to do it every day. By the beginning of the year, he had like 7 or 8 in escrow. I mean, it was ridiculous. He had just had business coming out of his butt. So it was a fantastic. And one of the easiest way to do that is door knocking. So fast forward to the Sunset Lincoln Hills, I went out door knocking. It's a great way to meet people. It's the easiest way, because we all know that if you understand the 738-55 rule, is that 7% of the word of your effectiveness is just the words. 38% is how you say it, but the 55%, which is the most important part, the biggest part, is how you look when you say it, your body language, your facial expression, etc., which is why video is so powerful. And they get that in person when you're door knocking. So it's the easiest way, and it's quick. It doesn't cost any money. It just takes shoe leather and a little bit of sweat equity, especially now that it's hot. So I've been doing that and haven't gotten great results out of it yet, but I know that I'm putting in the work. I can't control what happens, but I can only control my results. So twice at these open houses, I had people that come in and said, "Hey, we'd like you to help you. We'd like you to help us sell our house." It's like a gift from the real estate gods, right? We're all, yeah, okay. I'm here doing an open house and you want me to list your house? Cool. And the automatic assumption, Kyle, in case you haven't figured it out, even though you're going and holding open another person's open house, people assume that if you're holding the open house, it's your listing. You look like the expert, especially if you're prepared and if you do it right. They assume that you're the listing agent. So when they ask you to sell your house, they're like, obviously you have success. Obviously you know what you're doing. Obviously you're a listing agent. So take advantage of that. Just let people know. Anyway, I got a text back from a woman that I met with. It was a trustee situation. Their parents had died. So it was her brother that was actually the decision maker. So it's the odds go down, not impossible, but the odds decrease when you've got a committee that has to make the decision rather than the individual. I can connect with an individual, as we all can. We can build rapport, we can make connection, we can make them feel like we're the one. Doing that to a committee is a little bit more difficult. It's possible, just not as probable. But when you don't meet them at all, when it's totally, when it's just by committee and here's your email, here's this guy's contact, throw them in a pile and pick one, the odds decrease dramatically. So I got that Dear Tom email, you're not the guy, which is kind of frustrating. But the other one that I worked with and met with, I called them back and said, hey, want to just follow up. And, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to get the Dear Tom letter too. He's going to kick me to the curb. And thankfully, he just said, hey, no worries. We've just been busy. We got family coming in. It's a 4-day weekend. Can we get together early next week? We'd love to meet with you and move things forward. I'm like, Eureka. Yes. So anyway, it was just door knocking works. Like Rick said, everything works. Nothing doesn't. You just have to work it and be consistent. Probably the most thing to do is work on your mindset. So
I need to interrupt though. Tom is not telling the whole story, because the people that even rejected him as the listing agent was only because the lady who wanted to make the decision for Tom was not the decision maker, because it was a trust and the brother had control of the trust. But this is what the lady said to me. Said to Tom, please forgive me. The movers are coming in a few hours. I packed my things to storage and my bedroom furniture to a friend's house. I have honestly not had a moment. I am more than sad to say that I spoke with my brother and they picked a different agent. And she said, I would have loved to work with you, Tom. And also, if truth be told, which it always should be, I'm sad because you are such a professional, loving, delightful, big-hearted, deep, caring man, son, brother. And I was so looking forward to more conversations with you. There is something about you, Mr. Costello. You bring joy. You deserved a phone call, and when I'm finished with today's activities, I will call you. I will take rejections like that all day long, because in there is a raving freaking fan, right? And if she has the ability to send me business, or Tom in this case, not me, in the future, she will. And this is one of the people that needs to be on Tom's top 50. Even if he's just met her in an open house, who gets words like that? I know my closest relatives don't say those things to me. Hello?
Mine neither.
Yeah. So that's the most beautiful kind of rejection you can get, Tom, especially since there's a built-in refer of future business in there. So congratulations for how you're showing up. That makes so much difference. You said it yourself in your communication. How am I showing up? So, Celine, we're getting close to the end. I want to see if anybody else has any comments. I want to read a little bit from this. And Celine, do you have any closing comments about open houses, lead generation, top 50s, or anything that you want to comment on?
I have something on the holding yourself accountable portion of week 4, because I know some of you said you struggled a little bit with finishing the videos or doing the daily success habits. And I saved this several weeks ago, and it's a little quirky, but I'm going to give it to you anyway, because I keep it on my phone to remind myself about holding yourself accountable on what defines success for you. So don't laugh when I'm telling you. So I'm going to read it. It says, have you ever heard a crackhead say, I have no money, I'm not going to smoke today? No, because they always find a way. Are you going to let a crackhead out hustle you today? So I want you to think about it from that perspective. Whatever excuse you give yourself for why you didn't do something, a crackhead will find a way to smoke.
That is brilliant. Would you please send that to me in an email so I can show it to all my loser friends?
Because I was like, dang, I better get busy. You know, so that's what I'm closing with today. Rick, go ahead.
Nice. Tom, what did you put there?
I just put a quick Amazon link. I've got a friend from another group coaching that I've been doing in LA for years. He's out in Colorado and his whole business is built on door knocking. He's door knocked over 5,000 doors. It's actually probably more like 50,000, but I don't want to misquote. I'm going to be conservative. Anyway, I put the link in it's his book is called Doors Open When You Knock. And it is literally about his career in door knocking. I highly recommend that you guys check out the book. I know him personally. He's a good friend and he's a workhorse. He's just got it down. He door knocks and he's in Colorado, mind you. It snows in Colorado. He's out there busting his ass in the freezing cold. We here in California, I don't know where you guys are all at, but Northern California, Southern California, like, oh, I have to take a limo to work today. Damn it. I mean, weather-wise, we're pretty prima donnas here.
Yeah.
So if you're struggling with door knocking, he really goes into mindset. He goes into discipline. He tells a story about, what has happened in his experience. Highly recommended.
Yeah.
Anyway, just a thought.
Door knocking in Toronto, Canada in the winter. Okay. I know people who've done it. So, all right. Selena, are you being able to put that in the chat? Thank you very much. Remember to learn how to save the chat. My last thing before we wrap up is this. Sherry Mason was nice enough to tell us that the scroll for today was I Am Nature's Greatest Miracle. Sometimes you guys, when you read this, you realize why they are there, right? Remember what I said about people saying, well, I don't look like a door knocker, or I this or I that, I remember, excuse the story, but it's in reality that we would have these marketing meetings on a certain day in the afternoon. This is many years ago, the 90s. And these two really hot realtors who partnered up would go door knocking in short shorts. And they always wore the exact same color sneakers, the exact same color socks, exact same color shorts. They were all different every time they went, but the two of them dressed identical. They didn't look identical, but they did. And then they'd come to the marketing meeting immediately after. And people would say, wow, you look really good. And they didn't care. They said, we don't care what you think. We picked up 4 listing leads today, right? And I would say, I'm never going door knocking in short shorts. It worked for them. What worked for me, though, was the same thing. That's why I love this book Tom just said. I'm going to buy everybody one in a minute. But it goes back to this. I Am Nature's Greatest Miracle. It's the 4th scroll. It falls on page 68. Since the beginning of time, never has there been another with my mind, my heart, my eyes, my ears, my hands, my hair, my mouth, none that came before me, none that live today, and none that come tomorrow can walk and talk and move and think exactly like me. All men are my brothers, yet I am different from each. I am a unique creature. I am nature's greatest miracle. Although I am of the animal kingdom, animal rewards alone will not satisfy me. Within me burns a flame which has been passed from generations uncounted, and its heat is a constant irritation to my spirit to become better than I am. I love that line. Within me burns a flame which has been passed from generations uncounted, and its heat is a constant irritation to my spirit to become better than I am. And I will fan this flame of dissatisfaction and proclaim my uniqueness to the world. None can duplicate my brushstrokes. None can make my chisel marks. None can duplicate my handwriting. None can produce my child. And in truth, none has the ability to sell exactly as I. Henceforth, I will capitalize on this difference, for it is an asset to be promoted to the fullest. And with that, I want to again congratulate Kyle, because your uniqueness and your ability to do what you did all came out of being nature's greatest miracle. You all have that capability. You're each individually, as am I and Selena, nature's greatest miracle. So go out and prove it. All right. Happy July 4th weekend to all of you. Happy Canada Day to you, Kevin, and your country mates. Ton of Canadian friends. Wish you all well. Let's go out and make this work for ourselves so that we are not a casualty of NAR's losses in the next 2 years. Okay. See you guys soon. Take care.
See you next week, guys.
Bye, everybody.